Hey everyone, it's the Future here, and I wanted to make a quick video about these Govee Wi-Fi gaming light bars with smart controller. Now this is the Evangelion version, not that I care particularly much about that franchise, but I just liked the cool purple color, so that's why I picked these. Now I've seen a lot of content made about these, but it's generally sponsored content, so I wanted to make some. I purchased this myself. Now light is always a little bit tricky in video, so this is the Evangelion lights at 100% with my camera set at a fixed exposure, and just to contrast it, this is the same settings with my phone behind my monitor with the flashlight on, to give you a little bit of an idea about the brightness of these things. Don't mind the clutter on my desk. My desk is always a mess, that's just how things are. This is just to give you a little bit of an idea of how bright these get, which is, I think, plenty bright for the application. So let's get into some colors. Now this is cycling through the primary colors to the red, and we will switch to the green, and then the blue. As you can see, even at 50%, these are pretty bright. Orange, light blue, and also purple. You can also add your own colors if you want different colors. These are the base colors. So this is dim to 1%. If we put it all the way up to 100, it gets pretty bright. Do note that it is not a complete gradient, so above 50% it seems to only increment slightly. Below the curve is a lot steeper. There's also some color temperature options, but it's a shame that you can't actually insert color temperatures here. That would have been very useful for doing video work if you could set it in Kelvin, so you can easily match other lights. Now, aside from all these static colors, there's also a bunch of built-in scenes, which we will switch to in a second. Here we go. Now these are the Evangelion included themes. Personally, I don't think it's worth buying these for that. Just buy them if you like the purple color. Now, my general opinion about these scenes is that they are all way too busy to be useful. If you're going to run this behind your monitor, it's going to be very distracting and very annoying. Another thing to note, especially here, is that you can see that the animations are not very fluid. They are pretty stuttery, which is a common theme with all these themes. There's not that much fluidity in the way the colors fade and the patterns shift. So that's a sign of a somewhat cheaper controller maybe, although in the manual options you can actually get a lot smoother operation of these color changes. So I think it's maybe something in these programs that just isn't very smooth. Just a few more examples to give you a little bit of an idea. Now in this meditation you can really see that the dimming is very stepped and not very smooth. Now speaking of customization, we will run into customization in a second to give you a little bit of an idea of the options there. They are very plentiful. You can also make static gradients, but you can also make animations of all sorts of kinds, adjusting the speed and brightness per segment of the light bars, which is pretty cool. So here we go into some animation stuff. As you will see, the smoothness in transition is a lot better here. There's no compensation for light colors, so some colors will display a lot dimmer than other colors. This is pretty common in RGB strips, so that's not something to worry about if you ask me. Now for the price, that's where it gets a little bit tricky. I mean, these offer a lot of things. I think at full price, the build quality isn't amazing or insane or anything, but they are pretty good strips with pretty good diffuser. And it's out of the box ready, which is always good. And I like the fact that there's a controller with it, so you're not just bound to this app. Once again, showing some stepping there. And here you can see the effects and the ways you can combine them, change the speed and all that sort of stuff. Now for me, one of the main selling points here is the separate controller. This makes it a little bit less app dependent, so you can turn it on and off with the controller, and we'll go to the last setting, and you can change the color using the little wheel. And you can also switch this to a brightness control. Now the thing itself is pretty light, so it tends to move around a lot when you control it, but realistically you won't be using it that much. It's more of a on-off button and a quick change button. And it's just nice to have these controls at hand. What is something that is worth noting is that the cable you need to run to the lights is rather short, and it's hard to hide. I did contact Govee, and they did not recommend extending these cables. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. There's a audio reactive mode. I think that's super annoying. But if you like that, it's there. It has a audio throughput, so you can use it with a built-in mic in the controller box, but also with a throughput. So overall, I think it's a pretty okay little kit, especially because you can use it standalone, which is, in my opinion, a good thing, because apps only have a certain lifespan, and being dependent on them isn't great. I do think it's a shame you can't cycle through themes or scenes on the controller, and that you can't set light temperatures. That's a little bit of a missed opportunity. But aside from that, especially the discounted price of about 50 to 60 euros, I think it's a decent deal. At full price, I think they are definitely on the expensive side. That's everything I have to say about this product, and see you in the next one.